Okay.
Okay, ready? All right, we're going to call the meeting to order and everyone stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. So, to the flag
of
the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I screwed up. Well, you know, I always thought I was going to at some point, and when we have a show, I do. Okay. So audience introductions.
Cody White.
Yeah.
Oh, Fred Sondermeyer.
Suzanne Saltermeyer. Thank you for coming. Next, approval of the agenda. Second. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Any in opposition? Okay, motion passes. Delegation of visitors. Yeah, one for that. Okay. Items of information for the board. Superintendent report.
Yeah, so our high school science group was traveling when I wrote this around the state in search of knowledge and hoping to be wowed with new and unique opportunities. It sounds like they were. They visited some colleges. In fact, it sounds like you got a new Cascades student coming on board next year with
Oh, yay.
when Miss Philable, it sounds like she's very interested in going there. So maybe some others as well. But yeah, it sounds like they had a great time going over to not only Bend, but then over to Crane and Burns. Brock actually met up with a former teaching buddy. He didn't realize that they taught together until they saw each other. Like, oh yeah, we knew each other. One was coming and the other one was going. So the principal down at Crane happened to be just getting to Burns High School when Brock was leaving. And so they kind of reunited and had a romance there. And they were very good hosts for us at Crane High School and took care of us back when we used to do the 7th grade trip. They did the same thing for us. Had a lot of respect for Crane and always been good people for us. So hats off to Crane. Thank you to them. But really good trip. Whether it was to Texas to see the Space Center, or going down to see the eclipse, or yet last year over to Idaho, whether it's been Klamath Falls and going down to OIT, etc. Just had a lot of great experiences for our kids. Brock and I were talking about some opportunities next year to try to get more kids involved at various ages, and nothing that's going to be too crazy. I know a couple of parents that were chaperones are already trying to talk me to Hawaii, but I don't know if that's really going to be in the cards. But definitely he's already thinking about next year and what that may bring for our kids. So I really think that those opportunities are great. So our high school softball team, they're 7-3, forfeit this last week. The team wasn't able to play them, but the other team forfeited us, I should say. They were ranked number 6 at the time that happened. Played a really difficult non-league schedule, won a couple of close 7-6 games. So, I come from behind victory over Country Christian tonight that we had the PPC auction. They were down by 5 runs going to the bottom of the 7th, and they scored 6, getting the win. In fact, I thought they lost. And then I was told, no, they won. So I couldn't believe it. It was a great come from behind win. So good job to our ladies. And then our track team, this last week, and this isn't even in here, 21 out of our 25 athletes that competed had personal records this weekend on Saturday. That's a huge deal for our track team. So when you have, almost 90% of your athletes have a PR, that's saying something right there about how well the team is doing right now. So great job for them. And we have our invitational track meet this Saturday. Weather's supposed to be great. We'd love to see you here. So if you can make it, please come and support the kids. And then we have 7 other teams joining us. And then Greta Philable, I was just saying her name a little bit ago, from cheer her and teammates on. She had set the new mark for the school with the 8:11. She's already qualified for state with that mark too. And our baseball team is playing a game tonight at San Diego Christian. but a tough 2-run game against Crow High School down by Eugene last week. And hopefully the weather's able to hold out and get some other games going. So middle school track did great last week at Amity as well. We had some great individual athletic showings there. Libby Williams in 7th grade, I think took second in 100 against some really quality 3A teams. And then we have a gentleman in 8th grade who was first in the 100, first in the 4x1, and in the high jump and in the long jump. So again, some really good quality teams. So it was impressive to see some of the talent that we had out there competing. So. And then it says over the past 2 years, our students and families have been able to access free breakfast and lunches through our CEP program, sponsored by the USDA. Previous years, our lunch program averaged 175 lunches. We're now averaging 70 more per day. We're at 245. Breakfast went from 150 per day to 200. So right now we're at about 120 more meals per day. More students are able to access food consistently throughout the year. Plus, it has helped our bottom line tremendously. And we went from not only needing to do approximately $3,000 transfer this year instead of thousands and thousands of dollars previous years. And the great news is it looks like we're able to extend it. We just got news this last week on Thursday, wasn't it? That we are for sure going to be able to extend it another 4 years. So all of our students for the next 4 years will have their lunches and breakfasts paid for. So they'll be able to have that. So that's a huge win for our families through the 29-30 school year. Altogether, that's a 6-year duration for the program. I'd like to thank both Cindy and Chrissy Starr for the work that they did on that in order to make that happen for us to extend it after the 2 years, go ahead and try to reapply to get it extended out to 4 years. And then also Chrissy Starr, Suzanne, Stacy, and Cindy for the work they did with the food service program, just in a variety of capacities. When I first came here, 3 decades ago, we didn't even have a school lunch program. And then 2 weeks ago, we set our all-time record with our lunch staff served 283 lunches in one day. So I'm going to put that in perspective. If we have 315 kids and you have, let's say, 20 kids gone in a day or 15 kids gone a day, 283 out of 200 kids is pretty remarkable. 283 out of 295. That's pretty great. Not only is that great, numbers wise, but that says that they want to eat the food that's here. So that's pretty great. So during that same week, we celebrated National School Lunch Week with themes and some fun twists on our typical meals. Again, a huge shout out to those involved in the program. And then lastly, we're starting our student course interest and forecasting with the 26-27 school year. This process includes getting feedback from our students and staff on interest prior to developing the courses and developing the best schedule possible after considering a large number of factors that may impact schedule requests. We enjoy seeing the responses from students on their interest surveys and look forward to each student having a voice. So,
Thanks, Sarah.
Bet.
I do have a question.
Yes.
Was there some like Europe trip or something for next year that got canceled?
Brock was trying to do that. We didn't have a lot of student interest. We had some.
Okay.
I had previously done some years ago and then not in the classroom anymore. So that really does change things a lot when you're not in the
I
classroom.
just was wondering what.
Yeah, Brock had tried to do one instead of just doing a science trip.
Oh, okay.
He's trying to do kind of both, and I
Okay.
can tell you more later on.
Christy?
Ready for me? All right. It's hard to believe we've finished the third quarter for middle school, high school. So as we continue our busy spring, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, the spring performance, those practices are well underway. Kids are pretty busy with that. Last week, our Pirate Sounds group attended the state capitol and also went to Capitol Manor in Salem to perform. Last week was our book fair and our family literacy night. And then I guess 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago anyway, was our PPC auction for the year, and they raised $28,000. And that was, that's really due to the the group really staying focused on their goals, as well as our staff and our families that contributed to that program. So again, a busy spring, and it's hard to believe that we're kind of on that final stretch of the school year.
Oh, Erin's not here.
Is there what?
Oh, sure you are.
Putting it
Sorry, Erin, we won't pass you up then.
Okay. Special education department is currently serving 35 students on IEPs. One of our staff members attended a Braille training. So we now have 3 staff members who are getting very proficient in Braille. We're busy this time of year, busier than normal. And we have several students coming to the resource room for state testing. That is a common accommodation. I'm continuing to attend regular law webinars with the 2 main agencies who support schools. These are very beneficial. And Dan, Cindy, and I met with WSD to create our local service plan. And thank you for your continued support.
Great. Thanks, Erin. Sorry to pass you up. And then the facility report is in here. I did have, I thought it was interesting, Dan, I'm just going to call out that Troy is already thinking of ways to reuse the floor.
Yeah. That he was ready to throw out. So yeah, now he's, yeah. Who's got ideas? So idea guy there.
Yeah. Okay. And now spotlight on education.
Yeah, so 2 ideas. Well, first I want to hit on just a thank you also, just like Christy had said, the PPC auction and dinner that night. We had a lot of new faces, really appreciated that. We had some support from some new people. I thought that we had a lot of switch over with our PPC members that had retired. We had some new blood there helping out with it. I really appreciated the people that had stepped up and helped out with that auction this year. I thought they did a great job. It was a nice facility where they had it. I was excited about it and look forward to seeing what we have again next year. Appreciate that. And I think they were excited about it, and the people there, it was fun. I really enjoyed it. So thank you to them. And then the exciting news over the weekend, our floriculture team, advanced floriculture. So at districts, our beginning and advanced floriculture team had taken first place. And at state, our advanced team took 3rd place. So they actually got a banner in the white banner. It's not the blue one, but it's my second favorite color, not the red. I think the red one would be, but nope, it's the white one. So they sent me a picture on Saturday of them with the 3rd place one, and to get a state banner with floriculture on it, that's pretty outstanding. So McKenna's put a lot of time into that program with the kids. We have some kids that were very interested in that program. We're hoping that continues to build, and it was really great to see the smile on their face with that. So appreciate the time they spent on Saturday. Kirk also went and volunteered to help with judge on that as well. And, it's pretty fantastic to see them compete and do that well at a state level competition. So kudos to them.
Okay, next, new hires resignations. There are, I think, in the packet.
So we have two resignations. Elizabeth Martin resigned from the gen ed IA position, and she was also a middle school track assistant coach. So she resigned from that position as well. And then Kathy Gregory is resigning at the end of the year from her IA position, resigning/retiring. So we will miss them and thank them for the work that they've contributed. Kathy's been here for, I want to say,
Wow.
10 years, but probably longer. 12, yeah. And she's been within our SPED department as well as our classroom assistant position, and most recently in our instructional reading intervention program assistant. So She's really moved around, found her niche, and it's really impacted our students.
Move to the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Any in opposition? Okay, motion passes. Items for board action, local service plan.
So each year we do a local service plan where we have resolution dollars that go through the ESD, and they're for us to spend on students and school items that we have to utilize in order to run our district. So some of them may be things that have to do with background checks, or maybe about security for our computer network. I'm not going to say anything too much to jinx us, but others around us have been hit with computer issues and network issues from viruses, stuff we don't want. We've been pretty fortunate. So, yep. And then a lot of the money that you see in any district is spent for programs with children with special needs, as you see on page 1 and 2. That takes a lot of the money each year. That is a lot of times where they actually start with the, when we do the actual meeting, they start there, and then you kind of just get to spend the rest of your dollars elsewhere. One of the biggest drivers for us nowadays is the speech language pathologist, and then the assistant for that position. You can see the unit cost, but we just have that person for a fraction of that, or those two people for a fraction of that time, because we have them for just a fraction of the FTE. And then you can see some of the other items, transition specialists, those are for high school students. We have 3 slots for that. That's actually new. We have a number of high school students that are going to be needing those services next year. We're, I'd say, excited about that, Aaron. What would you say? Yeah, I think that's going to be a good service for our high school students. I think it'll be great to see some of the options that the ESD offers our students and our staff to help them with some of those items as well. School psych, we have fractions of that. You can see all those. If you have any questions on that, feel free to ask. And then some of the other items we have as well. So when I would promise, that's for our college credit programs through Western Oregon and Oregon Institute of Technology. You can see that it costs us that $2,500 to do that. We do it by $5.44, each kid times that 453, which is our ADMW. And then, but they also have some stipends for those teachers that do that as well, for some of the additional time they spend in some of the trainings, etc. So Willamette Work Ready, Maggie does some of the college and career readiness stuff. She works closely with the Willamette Work Ready. I did ask her through this process, make sure she was interested in working with them again this year. If that was a wise, use of those dollars, the $1,700. She said absolutely. She said she gets probably more out of that than anything else. So that was money well spent, etc. And you can see some of the other items on the back page there. A lot more going into technology support nowadays than what we used to have, obviously, with the increased usage of technology in the classroom and at the school level.
And then I've got one question.
Sure.
It might be more for Cindy. So, sorry. Can you talk about how this intertwines with the budget?
This is these are
It's totally
WESD
separate,
dollars,
yeah.
yeah, so this is money that they allocate to each district and we spend it through them, so we're spending it on their services, so this isn't coming out of our budget.
Okay.
But it also, does it get it counted and show up in here?
It goes into a couple of like reports that I have to do for special ed and stuff, but it doesn't, it's not in the budget. Because we don't actually get the fund, we don't have to, we're not bringing the funds in and then sending them back out. It's completely
they're-
through them.
what they're
Part of what
allocating
they're,
out
yeah, it's
for the
part of what
district.
their like
in their
state school
budget,
fund
yeah.
goes to.
Perfect, thank you. And how, do you have a sense of how, is this pretty consistent with last year's plan or? I'm
Yes,
assuming
a
there's not a
couple of
lot.
different items. For example, we looked at, adding those transition services. A little less because of that, a little less went towards substitute costs. Some years we'll have more with substitute costs. Over the years, the model for SLPs has changed drastically, and there's not much we can do about that. 6, 7 years ago, well, I guess it was a little bit more than that. We had a SLP that was here that wanted to go online and do services online, and Aaron and I kind of laughed and said, no way. But now that's the norm, and so you have an SLPA that's here working with the kids that will go in and do observations, and because they're an SLPA, they have the right credentials in order to go do those observations and report back to the SLP. Our SLP is speech language pathologist, is actually in Roseburg or Medford.
Kansas City.
Oh, Kansas City. Wasn't she in Roseburg before?
Long time
Okay. Then no, she moved. Not important though, but you see the idea. She's in Kansas City now. But she is dynamic. Erin feels like she's the best, or at least one of the best that we've had over the years. It's been consistent, and it's consistent for our kids. And so is the cost of having the SLPA and that consistency that it brings with, well, both of them, the SLPA and the SLP, outweigh the cost of having that person that's online, but the other person here that's here in brick and mortar each of the days that they work with our kids. So in the past, you wouldn't have even considered something like that. But if you don't do that, then it's like shooting craps, because you could come to the start of school, and we had this discussion this year a couple times before we finalized the project. So did Cindy and I, because you could say, no, we're going to take our chances and go with in person, but they might not be able to find anybody. And so you may come to school time and they may not be able to find an SLP. And so at that time, you will not have somebody that can actually service your kids, and then you're responsible. You would get those dollars back, but then you would have to try to find somebody to cover that, and they're not out there. And so then you'd have to try to hire a third-party vendor in order to serve your kids, and you don't know what you're getting at that point. Part of the reason why we hired Jill for autism services years ago and then split that cost with our other neighboring districts, because Amity, Dayton, and Carlton and Perrydale, she served all of us. We had caught wind, Aaron had caught wind, that the ESD may be making some switches. And so we had said, you know what, we all wanted her, that consistency working with our children that have autism. And so we went ahead and said, okay, we're going to do this as districts. And that's how that came to be, and how Jill came to be on our staff. So sometimes we have to think outside the box or do things we wouldn't traditionally have done, because it's better for our kids, especially those who may be ones that need that consistency more than others.
We did have carryover from last year of almost 7,500. So things are like by the hour. If we don't use all of those, then we're not charged them. So then they would go into like a carryover for the next year.
So for example, business services support may be one that if we don't need that, we could then see some of that savings.
Jane, do you have a question?
No, I was just gonna say the speech thing, I was really hesitant while we did speech help, and when they told me it was online, I was like, trying to roll my eyes, like, really. But he's done great with her. The kids now are so used to screens, it's not weird.
Yeah, she's really good. And we kind of piggyback on what Dan said. We were in a situation last year where they just WSC could not find an OT at the beginning of the year. We purchased a number of hours that can obviously be used throughout the school year. But in November, December, there was a chance that WSC was gonna have to say, we can't find someone, so districts are gonna have to purchase their own. And it would really be hard to find an occupational therapist for only 30 hours a year. Probably be impossible, so.
It would be out of compliance.
Yeah.
That would be a headache.
So we have to adopt this, correct?
Pretty much.
I move to adopt the 2026-2027 local service plan.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposition? Okay, motion passes.
Okay.
Okay, next item,
Who's the other voting member?
insurance agent of record.
Yeah, so last year, a little bit later than this, in June, I talked with the board about Hagan Hamilton. It's a local agency out of McMinnville. They're the ones that a lot of our EML County schools are with. Talked with a lot of our schools in EML County. Most of them, I think all are with Hagan Hamilton. Interestingly enough, the guy that's been talking with this whole last year plus is not from McMinnville. He actually is opposite out of Junction City, but the president of the company is out of McMinnville. And at the time, the board said, you know, it was a little late in the game because we would have had to have done something earlier on, which is probably actually online right now. But Jake Stone is his name, the gentleman, the agent. And what the board had said at the time is, you know, continue to have a relationship, build on that, see where we are, come back next year and see if we decide that that's the route we want to go with going with Hagan Hamilton instead of our current vendor, which is WHA. At the time, what the board over the last, well, the previous boards have discussed wanting something that's local as preference for a lot of companies that we utilize. And again, when I talked with the other districts, asking them how they feel about this company, they've all expressed their appreciation for the company and how they've had success working with them with any of the issues that they may have had or just the customer service they've received. When we decided not to go with them last year and there was, question maybe on did they do something wrong, et cetera, the president of the company actually came to our school and waited in the office. Vanessa, do you remember how long that was for?
A while.
Probably half an hour, maybe.
Yeah.
Until I was done with another meeting. And so the owner of the company actually came and sat and waited until we were done. It was just had dropped in just to check in to make sure. So I thought that spoke volumes there too. I mean, Jake is a salesman, obviously a sales rep, but I think he also is, not only interested in our business, but he's kept that relationship going. He told the owner, but also Jake, this is, what our board has said, and try to keep that relationship going and see where this takes us. And so he had written this up, a while ago, but as we wanted to make sure we got till April, and we wanted to make sure that we figured out where we were with our gym floor, et cetera, with everything with PACE and WHA. And how the structure works is that PACE is our insurance umbrella, but WHA and Hagan Hamilton and others are the actual agents that we have. And by law, once you get to a certain threshold, which is $100,000, then they can charge you they can work with you and negotiate the percentage. Under that amount, they have to charge you all the same amount. So right now that amount is 18%. Once you get to over 100,000, which we're not there, we're estimating about 90,000 this coming year. Once you're there at over 100, then they can be different. So right now it'd be the same no matter who we go with, percentage wise. Once we get down there, previously Jake had said, maybe like 9% is what they had said. we did get some message from WHA over, on Thursday that they said, once you get to 100,000, internally, we just had some quick discussion. They said that, nothing official, but internally we had said maybe like 4%. So I did talk with Jake today and just say, hey, just so you know, our board may be interested in going back out there because you're saying maybe 9 possibly, they're saying maybe 4. So if the board decided to go with you folks tonight, that they may decide, hey, we want to go back out and make sure that we're getting the right percentage. He said, absolutely, I understand that. That would make sense. And, we would obviously come at you guys with a percentage that would make sense, to the board and to the school district. And those were just initial discussions and we understand that. So, not that I think that we've had a bad relationship with WHA. I know the city enjoyed working with Nate Cortez and them. And I think that, the WHA has been all right. They're out of the Eugene area. Not like they're across the country. Again, I just have talked with some of the others that are around here, again, previous board, not that that's this board had discussed about trying to go with some other companies that were local, not just in insurance, but in everything that we were doing. Jake had approached us last year. He used to work for WHA, and then they moved over to Hagen Hamilton and had some decent conversations with them last year, good conversations, I should say. And so, like I said, came to the board last year and wanted to keep that relationship going. So I think that Hagen Hamilton would be good, but like I said, I know ultimately it's up to the board to decide what route you want to go. And this board is a little different than the board that was before. And so it's up to you 3 here tonight, because 2 of the board members I know aren't here. We usually have to have this done by April 30th, because you have to give them notice before 60 days notice before the June deadline, end of June deadline.
Okay, so I have questions.
Yeah.
So if we're not at 100 yet, when do we think we will be at 100?
Could be a year, could be 2 years. Just would vary. I mean, each year they send out the rates around this time, maybe a little bit later. It just varies on how many companies do, or how many school districts and entities do claims against their, the umbrella basically, and how much is the insurance going to go up. Not like health insurance or any other.
It could be next, if we're budgeting 90,000, they go up like between 10 and 15%. It just kind of depends. If it goes up 15%, we're over the 100,000 next year.
Which actually could cost us less in the long run.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking, but
Yeah.
I guess if there's no reason to switch and we'd be over the $100,000 mark and the next person or the company we have now is quoting a less percentage.
Well, they're not really quite, I mean,
Right.
yeah, we would have to,
Right.
we would let both companies have
theory.
that, or whichever companies have that discussion. Yeah, definitely.
So why are we actually looking to switch then? I guess that's just my thoughts.
Yeah, I think it's hard to make a decision not knowing what our current, like what WAC would be exactly if we went over. Does that make sense? Went over 100.
Yeah, and I think it's,
So it's like, it's hard to compare.
well, that's the thing is you wouldn't know until
Yeah.
you went out for both, which would be,
Which
They
is
won't
why
really get until a year away.
I asked them, what I saw there that Hagen Hamilton was 9. I asked them, and they said their internal discussion, but they haven't had a chance to sit down with us either to discuss anything further. So their initial is the 4%. So yeah, if we are going to have to do this again, potentially in a year from now.
I mean, I don't know. My initial feeling is we're in the middle of a pretty big claim right now. I'm kind of not comfortable changing. And maybe next year we go out earlier than April, like we go out in March with bids if we think we're going to be over 100.
That's what I would say.
Yeah.
That's my thought. But
yeah,
I mean, if that's the same amount, no matter what we go with this year, I don't know why we would change if we're happy with them.
well, it's not that I think that we're displeased with them. Again, and I explained this to Jake too. I realize it's a different board than what we had, and when we had said that before, just trying to build that relationship with us was what we had talked about.
Judy?
I agree with staying with you.
Yeah, it might be different if we weren't. I mean, I just feel like we need things consistent right now. If we don't have a cost change. Okay, thanks. Okay, we.
No.
We're gonna move, if everyone's okay, we're gonna move, patron input up above the executive session, so you all don't have to wait around, so. And I apologize for the continual coughing, so, Fred. Fred Suzanne, no, just Fred, sorry. You wanna come provide some comments? Yeah.
So I had a couple things to discuss with the board tonight. And the first one, just so I don't forget, we just moved into Sunnyside Road a year ago. And there's no, with our grandson and granddaughter, he's 4, and I'm gonna apologize for the time for him. He's a little hellion. He's probably gonna give you guys a run for your money, but he's very fast, maybe attractive. But I was wondering what it would take, getting ready to redo the gate, and if we could have a school bus turnaround there, so I don't know who the contact person would be, or that they could come and take a look, and whatever I need to do, make it as wide. Or whatever.
So you live
On Sunnyside.
yeah, I know, yeah. I was gonna say, I think I know that may live by you, but, so are you at the very end of Sunnyside or?
Very beginning, so our son and daughter-in-law live on the same property, and so we'd be the first one on the left, they'd be the second one on the
Okay.
right.
What were you gonna say?
Okay.
Okay. And then you're on the opposite side though, is that right?
From here, I believe, so yeah, but Sunnyside comes in 2 ways, but it doesn't go all the way through, right? We come in off of Van.
Okay, that's what I want to make sure. Isn't there a turnaround that's kind of there, right there, the parking lot there? No, that's not there. Okay, I thought there was a
No.
kind of a gravel spot that was off on the side there that was, it's not very big. Well, I'm just wondering if it's enlarged or what. How does the bus? What is I guess I'm looking at you guys. Do we know what the bus situation is up there? Or not? So she lives kind of near there. They live.
He's on the west side of Sunnyside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's on the west side, not the east side, but you guys know.
I know it goes up to the very end, and then the old man named Victor, he put a gate in. So I don't know that a bus could turn around, they couldn't go all the way up and turn around. There's not enough room all the way.
If I could have somebody just take a look at the driveway, I don't think there's any kids on Sunnyside that I know of. So,
Not on your side.
not on our side, so I'd be more than happy to construct a.
Yeah, Dan would be
Got it.
the,
Yeah, I'll meet with,
appropriate
I can meet
contact.
with you and then we can talk with our bus company too, is Midco
Okay,
out of Dallas.
okay. No, that'd be great.
Definitely.
There's my email.
Yeah. Definitely.
And then if I could have just a few more minutes, so just a little bit of personal background about me. About a year ago, we sold our forever home in Jefferson and the opportunity to live here in Perrydale. And part of that decision making was the reputation that this district has, which is good reputation, I should say. But about almost 5 years ago now, Jefferson passed a school bond measure. And it made my taxes jump up considerably. And what made me interested is how the money was being spent. And I was pretty dismayed about the transparency of the district, and got dismissed quite a few times. Was complaining to my wife a lot, and she told me to be quiet. We've been married, I've never been single. She's my high school sweetheart. So she told me to shut up, and there's nothing I could do about it. And I said, well, I could run for school board and be the superintendent's boss. And she told me I wasn't going to do that. So I did and won. And so I have a lot of admiration for school boards. I don't ever want to do that again. So thank you guys so much. It's so much time that most people don't realize. So really appreciate the school board. So just wanted to say that. And I asked Don Moorfield, we got the superintendent out after 2 years after we got two basically pissed off moms on the school board to join me, and got Dawn Moorfield from Cascade in there, and she's so far that I can tell she's just phenomenal. Said great things about this district, and honestly, we started saving for a private school fund after I was on the board for about a year. You guys face huge challenges, so I don't know how you're doing it, but everybody wants to come to this school, so that was part of our decision for moving here. So thanks again. We got 2 grandkids headed your way. The other thing I'd like to say is that shameless plug for the company I worked for the last 33 years, Knife River. We just took over the lease on the quarry up there at Bethel Heights. And so I see a few piles of gravel around here. So I don't know who ordered your rock or whatever, but have them call me. Don't call the office. And so make sure you guys are getting the best deal or free. And we also, Knife River wants to be involved in any of the, I think we missed the auction, but we want to be involved with that. And that's, I worked for Morris Brothers back when Knife River bought them. I do not like big corporations. Knife River's huge. But when Knife River bought us, they said, don't worry, it's going to be like a family-owned operation, just like every other big corporation. But I've given away hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it just has to involve kids, which you have here, and an employee, which I'm a grandfather. So just keep me in mind, mainly gravel. That's the division I'm in charge of. And then also, I heard you talking about field trips, and I don't know, I can offer up the training center if anybody's ever been to
Been there,
that.
yeah, that's great, yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah, any time, same thing, give me a call. Chris Latimer's the executive director there. She used to work for the Lebanon Boys and Girls Club, and I actually persuaded her to come to work for us. So you got it in there too. Anytime, just give me a shout.
Sure.
I'd love to go along, give you the tour or anything else. So, and it's not just for Knife River. We advocate for industry and 6-figure jobs a year too out of high school.
It's a good place, definitely. We've had 3 times, I think we've taken groups there, including once this year.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. We have one individual kind of private group that went. And then we did 2 of the bigger group ones that they had. So I don't know if we were supposed to have the private group tour, but we got it. So
Well, you can have it anytime now.
there we
Just
go.
give me a shout.
That's good.
Yeah,
So,
and this is the demographic that we target because we tend to stay away from, I'm not gonna mention specific schools, but bigger city schools, especially in town, because one of the questions we ask them is, what's a long work day to you? And they're like, well, I went to school for almost 8 hours. And then we ask kids from these type of schools, and they ran combine for 13 hours at night. So that they already, that's the first huge hurdle they've overcome. They have work ethic, and they check just about every box. So anything I can help out with, and it may not even be my company, but I don't know if you guys have any sort of a career fair or anything, or mock interviews, real interviews.
Just
So bring
those today.
applications in.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you can have a second round.
there you go.
Well, I'll bring in a team of our people that hire me here. I just want to be involved and give back to this district. And your playground is ridiculous. We took it, we went around, took it to work. We might have played on it a little bit.
That's
That's
what it's there
good.
for.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
you come, it's open
That's what
on
we want.
weekends.
Yeah, so mainly just a thank you, plug my company a little bit. So, yeah, anything I can do to help out.
And now I know why you can help build that turnaround.
Yeah, I got I actually have an excavator on the farm.
When I saw this, I was like, oh, there we go. That explains.
Yeah, whatever it takes there, so
Good deal.
just let us know.
All right.
Let me know.
Is the 4-year-old 5 before September 1st?
The,
Yes.
So kindergarten.
well,
Kindergarten roundup, April 30th.
So you want to call the office, make sure that they know that he's coming.
okay, well, it'll be his parents.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah. This is coming up next week, so make sure.
Oh, he won't be 5 before then.
No, before
Oh,
September 1st.
Before
so,
September
yeah.
1st.
But
Yeah.
if he's looking to go to
Yeah,
Oh,
if you're looking
kindergarten
at
next year, we
kindergarten,
have
we have
kindergarten.
roundup
right?
next week.
It'll be next year. He just turned 4.
March.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, so.
Oh,
okay.
got it.
Okay.
So
But we do have a preschool.
Okay.
Yeah, we do have a great preschool program, so.
we may want, or Samantha may want.
Depending on work schedules and all that.
I don't know, my daughter may give him a run for his money.
He will accept the challenge. He's really fast for a 4-year-old. I can still outrun him, but like barely. I gotta kick him.
Just so you know, I live next to Cody and I think your guys' dog may have been coming to our house. So that's us, just so you know.
Oh, I don't think it's,
Not your dog?
were they labs?
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
Our next door neighbors, so that they just
Oh,
moved
the
in.
next one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
my-
come over to our house too.
yeah. We have an English Mastiff and he moves about 10 feet.
Oh.
Okay, well, thank you for coming,
Yeah.
and welcome to the community.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay, Fred will give me a call.
Okay, thank you.
That's good.
Okay, and we're gonna, go into executive session under ORS 192-600 2D to conduct deliberations with persons designated by the governing board to carry on labor negotiations. Stop.